Hey Jay, how you doing, man?
How you doing, boss? Good to see
Good.
you.
First off, before we begin, I do respect the tea, man. I like it.
The what? 1 second. One more time. Pardon me. My hair's all
Before
parted.
we start, I just want to say I respect the tea that you got that you're wearing.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. That's the
Yeah, it's
gang
really
right
cool
there.
design. I like it.
That's the gang right there. Syndicate all day.
But yeah, long time no see.
Right?
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
Hey, no problem. So how are you feeling, and how's fight camp so far? If you started,
Dude, honestly, since the last fight ended, I think I took like 2 days off to like let some swelling go down, and I've just been going at it since the end of February. So camp is great. Like I know a lot of fighters say that, and it's like a mundane things that you get that, a lot of people say that shit, but like I have never done so much work. I've always prided myself on being a workhorse and like working as hard as I can. I never thought before I came here that I could do more work than I was previously. And all I'll say is that I've left no stone unturned here. I've done everything. I am doing everything I possibly can to be as prepared as possible to fight this man in a little over a month now. So camp's great. Like I couldn't be more happy with where I am right now. So
great to hear. Now, do you feel like so you don't get that kind of fatigue by like you don't get that fatigue at all? You feel like you're always rested. Like how do you feel?
I balance it, you know what I mean? So like I
Mhm.
have a rest day where I don't do anything, but like I said, man, like idle hands make me feel weird. So like I prefer to be at work. Um like when I'm done fights, I like that week or two that I take off, or like that week that I take off, I feel like a lazy piece of shit because I haven't, you know what I mean, I haven't done anything. So being busy is cool. I do rest though. Like I take appropriate amounts of time for rest, and if I feel like I need to take a day off, I will. But I'm in the gym at least 5 days a week. So like it's just part of the routine now. My body's just used to it.
Well, you're an athlete, right? So
Yep.
you can never stop training.
Nope. Never. Never. Never.
Last we spoke, you were actually in Cage Titans, and then we were talking about hopefully getting in the UFC. I know you did the Contender Series, but you were
Yep.
hoping to get in the UFC, and now you're here. Um, I guess like to recap on your last fight, I know that you stepped in as a replacement, but like was there any like indication that a UFC contract was on its way, or was this just pure opportunity?
Pure opportunity. You know what I mean? And that's the aim of the game these days. You know what I mean? It's not, they're not signing people just out of the blue. You know what I mean? A lot of these signings that are happening right now are kind of like mine. It's more like, hey, we need a fill in. We know you're ready. Step in and you know what I mean? We'll scratch our back, we'll scratch yours type deal. That's kind of how it works. Um, but yeah, I didn't think it was coming at that point. Like I had won so many fights in a row, and people would call my name and been like, "Hey, this guy deserves to be in the UFC, this and that," and like I started to expect that was like I should have already been there, and it started to like rot me from the inside. So like I just stopped believing that. I'm like, you know what? If they're gonna call me, they're gonna call me. If they don't, then they don't. You know what I mean? And like I don't. I'm just gonna take it one fight at a time. So at that point, it was more like I was getting prepared for a different fight, and then they were like, "Hey, this might happen, so be ready for that call possibly to come in." And and it did. So like it was just all luck, really luck of the draw.
Do you feel like the UFC kind of does that on purpose? They want to see the guys that are going to step up to the plate instead of just signing some guy that is looking good so far. They want to know that guy that's going to come in. It's no different than any workplace. You come in on short notice. You're the guy that wants to come in and fight.
Yep, 100%. I think that they want people that I don't know. I think they want to drill in that sense of urgency. You know what I mean? They're like, this is my shot. I need this. I need to perform. Um, it could be a tactic. I don't really even think of it that way. I think that they have a large roster, and I think it's growing even more by the day. And it's hard to like they're hard pressed to just sign people out the gate because every manager, Joe, Larry, and fighter is telling them, hey, this is the next big thing. This is the next big thing. So I think they're trying to fill slots, and you know what I mean by offering that opportunity to people like myself and others. it gives opportunities to shine. You know what I mean? They give opportunity. They're not in the, you know what I mean, making um like recommendation. They give you the opportunity. It's up to you to make the opportunity work. That's pretty much how I
Mhm.
can say it.
And I didn't know much about the replacement, like how much time you had. How short notice was it?
6 days. So I got it on Saturday. Well, they heard about Saturday. Got confirmed on Sunday. I cut from 56 to 36 that week, and then we fought. So it was a hard process, but I got there and I got to. Maybe it didn't go my way, but um, you know, if I watch Mr. Batista's last performance with a bigger name than me, and then I look at our fight, uh, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? So, uh, I performed. I at least was made it entertaining. It wasn't boring. We slang for like 2.5 rounds, and then I gassed, and he beat me. So it was a great opportunity, and I think that even though I lost, I stepped in there short notice and performed. It's not just about doing the short notice thing. You know what I mean? Because I only go so far. You need to go in there and like try and put an ass whooping on dude, and I did. And it didn't work out for me that time, but in the future, I'm sure it will.
Well, I mean, you do have your hands full with the Richie Long.
Oh, yes, I do.
Now, I'm sorry.
I said yes, I do.
Yes, you do. But how excited are you now to have a full camp, being able to showcase all your skills and to showcase your championship experience into the UFC?
It's exciting, man. It's surreal. It's like my first stadium fight. It's out of the Apex. It's Bruce Buffer will be there. It'll be like it's an exciting prospect. This is what fighters dream about. You know what I mean? On the pay-per-view, maybe I'm on the prelims, but I'm on a big pay-per-view card at the very least. Um, it's in a big state. You really you try and envision that, and it gets more exciting for me because I think that I thrive when the lights turn on. When the lights turn on, I'm a game day fighter. So like you might beat me in the gym some days, but when the lights turn on, I'm a different guy. So I've always been able to feed off of crowds and to have like a stadium of people, even if it's not fully sold up. I've watched thousands of people fill a stadium and watch you fight, get you hyped up. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that prospect. I'm excited to walk into a big arena and have all these people there, and you know what I mean. It's just it's almost overwhelming, but like in a good way. You know what I mean. You got to dial yourself back because you don't want to live in the moment too much. You got to go there and do your job. So that it is. I think about it every day. It drives me and wakes me up at night. So
No doubt. You made a post on Instagram and you talked about. I understand that your nickname is the Joker, and the quote that
sir.
you put on, it's not about the money; it's about sending a message. I get that that's a Joker thing. But do you
Mm.
still stay true to that quote? Are you looking more for legacy versus money?
I mean, money burns, bro. You know what I mean. I can't take that money with me. So like, uh, yeah, dude. While I'm alive, I'd love to make some money. That'd be great, but it's not the world to me. You know what I mean? I did this because I love it. It genuinely brings me joy, and that's why I'm good at it. You know what I mean? Because I love it. I don't, you know. And some people have money that motivates them. That's fine. I don't need to be a super rich guy, and that's not like that. I'm not gonna. I don't know my own worth. As I get better, I'll negotiate for what I believe my worth is. But I just want to be remembered as somebody that gave everything they had to what they loved. You know what I mean? And was entertaining and was a good fighter. Because when you look back on history and historical like fighters, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, no one talks about how much money they had. No one talks. Hey man, that guy was rich. They all were rich. I mean? All of them were. You know what I mean? It's not. But what do they do? And how are they impactful to the sport? That's what people remember. And I would like to be one of those people. I'd like to be somebody that remember, like, hey, this guy could scrap. He could talk on the microphone. He was entertaining. Um, it was some. I just want to be somebody that was respected in the annals of time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, absolutely. And now your opponent, Richie Long, August 20th, UFC 278. What do you think about your opponent, and how do you view how do you match How do your skill set match with his?
with his. Um, he's a brawler, man. You know what I mean? He's gonna come in there at the very. He's not very technical, in my opinion. I don't think that he's got a very high fight IQ, in my own opinion. But that man will come there and swing, and that's for damn sure. I know that much at the very least, and that's enough. Um, I don't think he's great off of his back. I don't think that he's got great takedown defense. I think that he's going to stand there in the middle with me and trade. And I like that. I'm cool with that. I think that as far as being a more complete fighter, I have the advantage in a lot of different ways. It's not this isn't a boxing fight, even though I think my boxing is better than his, honestly. And I haven't been able to really display that other than in my last fight, but I lost that fight, And so I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna let him know that I'm there. I mean, he's not just gonna bully me. I'm gonna put him on his back foot, put him against the cage, crush him to the body, and then if I so choose to take him down, then I can pretty much at any point. So um, I don't think that he's bad. I respect him. He's in the UFC. You know what I mean? Obviously, I have a lot of respect for my opponent, but I know how hard I work, and I know how much I've studied this man. And as many fights and as much experience as he has, and that people have mentioned that he has a lot more experience than me. What I see is a guy that has over 40 fights and hasn't changed how he fought since the 30th one. So you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's not going to do anything I haven't seen before. So I think he's a brawler. He's there. He's a gamer. That man is going to come to fight me. But as far as technical skill, I think I'm just better everywhere.
Of course, of course. Now that being said, after this event, it's in Salt Lake City. Do you plan on staying there for a few days, or are you going to return home immediately?
No, baby. I am going to Star Wars Land. That's where I'm going. I'm going to Disneyland. That's what I'm doing immediately. Like I'm getting on a plane from Salt Lake City and right back to California because I haven't been to Star Wars Land. And two, after I win, you know how like I'll never win a Super Bowl or like you know what I mean? How they put the microphone in your face and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" I'm going to Disneyland. This is as close as I'm getting, right? So I'm just gonna get on the mic like I'm going to Star Wars Land. Peace out. That's it. That's my next from there. But even if I could leave that night, I would. I would go right to Star Wars.
I mean, and how excited would you be to be able to talk to Joe Rogan on the mic? Have you ever met him before?
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, but I have plenty of stories from my old crew, Mark Delagrati, about their adventures, and Joe would come to Siatong and do. So I met him. I haven't met him, but I've met him in passing, if that makes sense. So like I said hello to him. That's about it. I didn't really get into like conversations with Joe Rogan at any point, but I would love that. Every draft fighter dreams of that. You knock a dude out. Ideally, you knock a dude out, you sub him, run all these people. You've made a name for yourself now, and then you look up. It's Fear Factor himself. You know what I mean? There he is in all of his blazing glory, and hopefully he's wearing that black shirt, that one black shirt he's had for 20 years. That's what we all think of. So I'd lose it. I'd give him a slap on the shoulder and be like, "Fuck, I won." That's how you know you won. Joe's there. There it is. It'll sink in right then. So I can't wait for all that. Bruce Buffer saying my name hypes me up. Not gonna lie. So
Well, just don't pull a Vanessa Demopoulos and jump in Rogan's hand in his arms or anything.
I don't think he'll catch me. Vanessa's cute. I don't think he's gonna go for that on me. If I jump in his arms, he might just let me drop.
Yeah, you might just have to rub his head or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll try, but that man might kill me.
Yeah, with his kicks, they're deadly. You don't want to mess with him, man.
And nope, never.
Now that being said, you talked about a little bit of the plans that you're gonna do after the fight. Do you have any like life plans any other plans for the end of the year, besides training?
I'd like to fight again in November or December if I could, just so I can get 3 in. I haven't because of COVID and everything else that's going on in my career. I haven't had like a year where I could fight 3 or 4 times a year. And that's like always my goal. My always goal is to always fight 3 or 4 times a year. And it very rarely ever works out because in the past, before I got signed, I would have a hard time finding opponents. And if I did find an opponent, they'd pull out fucking last minute or, you know what I mean? I'd only be able to fight once or twice a year. So I'd like to fight for a third time this year. If that can't happen, you know what, man? I'm gonna just be a human being for a little while because you know what? I pour my heart and soul into this. Everything I have, I put into not just this camp, but just in martial arts and everything that it stands for me all the time. You know, so um, I need to miss it after this. It's not that I'm not enjoying the process right now, but you know, I think we as fighters are so consumed in um, just go, 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 go that we forget to be human beings, and then we
Hmm.
start getting depressed, and then you hate your job. Once it starts to become a job and it's not something that I love to do, I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? That sucks. So like, I'd like to go. You know, if I'm not going to get scheduled right away, I'm going to go home. I'm going to visit my family. You know, I haven't met my own nephew yet. And my nephew was born 3 months ago. My older brother, son, um, and I haven't met him, and that sucks. You know what I mean? But I know what I got to do. They all understand, but that's still. I haven't met my baby cousin as well. I've had so much go on in my own family that I've just not ignored, but I've had to put to the side because I'm trying to do this. Like I need this for me. And after I'm done this, I owe my family and my friends and you know my girl and all this other shit. I owe all these people my time. You know what I mean? Because I miss them, and I can take a break. I'm gonna take like 2 3 weeks, and I'll be back. But I'm gonna take the appropriate amount of time to like spend with people and like be a human, and then I'll be right back to work.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of fans don't realize is they have this false idea that you got you fighters are not you're not human. You're just all about fighting, and there's nothing there when really you're just a person that's walking down the street, and you got a family. You got people
That's
you
it.
want to see in life. But
Right? You're a mechanic. I fight. You know what I mean? That's like it's a career choice. You know, and people think that that's another mistake is that we're barbarians and that's all we want to do, and we don't have families that we love and you know that we care about. And we don't have emotions, and that's just not true. You know what I mean? And so I like to make it known that I work really hard in and out of the game, but every so often you need to get the fuck away from it because if you don't, you're gonna hate it. You're just gonna hate it, and then you know once you get to a certain point where it's all you've ever done, you know what I mean? You don't have a lot of options. Like where I'm at right now, I don't have options. This is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? This is my option A. You know what I mean? And I'm so far in it now that if I hate it all the time, I don't have a choice. Like I have to keep doing it. So I'm not gonna burn myself out like that. I'm just not. So I'll take my appropriate amount of time and then I'll come back and I'll help all my friends and all that extra shit. So
you talk about your
we'll
plans
see.
going to Disneyland. So are you what's your go-to cheat meal after this fight?
Ooh, I'm gonna eat a million Reese's cups. I don't care what Randy Costa says. Fuck that. I love Reese's cups too. We can have a Reese's cup off, Randy Costa. We could literally sit with bowls of Reese's cups and see who quits first. And I promise you, I'll die on that hill. But I'm gonna eat thousands of Reese's cups. And then ice cream.
I do you one
Ice
better.
cream.
You both eat as much as you can, and then see who can cut the weight easier.
That's not fair. Randy is a genetic freak of nature. Yeah, that's not fair. Whoever vomits first, done. You know what I mean? That's it. We're gonna just do it that way because he's gonna have a better physique than me when we're fucking 90 years old. You know, we've talked about this, he and I.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is just one I've been asking a lot of fighters lately. It's kind of a fun one. What about have you ever like received any weird like fan mail, DMs, bad DMs, anything like that?
I haven't. I actually got my first couple of things of fan mail like last week. That was cool. But DMs, man, people on Instagram are weird, dog. Like weird. I get a lot of dudes that want me to talk to their wives, but not the word talk. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's very odd, and it's like, why would you say that to a stranger? You don't know this person. Like, why? I like if I wasn't in the UFC, I'm just a guy. You know what I mean? That you're just speaking to in this manner. It's fucking wild. You know what I mean? If I were to just walk up to a stranger and talk like this, like in person to some people, be mortified. You know what I mean? So, and I can't imagine what female fighters go through or females in general. Because if this is coming into my inbox, I can only imagine the weird type of shit that goes in like Michelle Watterson's inbox. You know what I mean? Or some shit like that. That's crazy. But no, people are weird online. Chill out. You know what I mean? If you're watching, if you're one of them, chill out. You know what I mean? Don't DM random people weird sexual shit. You're weird for that. Don't do that.
Well, you would be really surprised. Like some of the female fighters I've talked with, they said some of their male teammates have said like they've said, "Oh no, but we don't get it so bad." But the male teammates, like they're getting guys send them dick like pics and stuff like that, like talking about like,
Why?
hey, you want to come to my hotel room and
Why?
it's
Why would you
weird.
do that? I just
They got
don't
a
get it.
fetish about some guy beating them up. I don't know.
Maybe, but just fuck. If you're gonna do, don't do. You know what? I'm gonna run with your logic, right? If you're gonna do that, at least wine and dine me. You know what I mean? Treat me like a lady. Take me out before you start sending me dick pics or some shit like that. That's just too soon. You know what I mean? Just out the gate dick pics. That's fucking too bold. You've gone into too bold territory now. You know what I mean? You got to dial it back. That's just poor. So I don't know. I feel bad for all the fight. I feel bad for women in general because I'm sure that this happens a lot more to them. But yeah, that's I've gotten my fair share of just absolutely like I've looked at it and like reread some of the things people have sent me, and I'm like, you like proofreading isn't a thing anymore. Remember proofreading when you wrote something in school and then they're like, all right, so we're gonna take 5 minutes for you to read that back to yourself to make sure this is what you want to send in. So like I'm just wondering if they like type all this shit out and then they look at it and go, yeah, that's it. That's for sure. And I should definitely send this. It's beyond bewilders.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Jay, I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you're currently in fight camp, so it's always a pleasure to talk with you. I know it's been a while, so it's been a pleasure having you back on to let me
Yep.
interview you. And good luck with your fight on the 20th.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me back. Hopefully after the next fight, when I get my hand raised, we'll have another conversation to be had.